How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing so good. This week has been crazy, but I'm so excited that we finally wrapped up with our final contributor, and we're here to talk to you about our giveaway, and we're also going to be inviting on a very, very special guest.
We have two wonderful guests joining us, and it's beautiful that we can do that now on Instagram. We can actually have up to two more people who can join us, and I can't wait for them to join us. It'd be so great to talk about it. But I gotta ask one thing: are we? Who are you wearing tonight?
Oh well, of course I gotta show off my WhyDinosaurs.
Well, one of us is gonna have to change.
Oh,
no,
it's not going to be me.
The right attire for tonight. This is going to be really cool to see how this all comes together. But no, it has been a crazy week, hasn't it? We've had so many wonderful people who have been working with us from the beginning. It's only been 9 days, but it feels like so much more than that. It's been so much work. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It was both really fast, but also a lot of work. So it did feel like it took a long time, but I'm so happy. All of the support that we've gotten this week has been incredible. All of our contributors were incredible. We couldn't have done this without them, and we're just so grateful. So we wanted to do a nice little wrap up for everybody, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We're going to make it worth your while.
Absolutely, we are. We're so glad you guys are all here. We've got so many people joining us already. We have in the comments so far, Kat, most important thing is people are loving the microphone, as always. The Spinophone is transcendent, as always.
Well, I tried to do dual spinos. If you notice in the corner, another one.
You know, this is it's like one of those things from like a highlights magazine where it's like, hey, how many Spinosaurs can you see in the picture at any given time? 1, 2. I even got one over here for it.
Oh, nice! Nice, you threw one in. Well, I could add a special guest just for you, Jimmy. Just for you. We'll take Dinosaurs down, and we'll add the T-Rex.
Oh
just for you. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Prehistoric Models is here with us right now. It's 1:33 in the morning in the UK, and they stayed up just to be here with us. They actually asked us some really great questions as well that we're going to answer here shortly. And so, but let's talk about this great giveaway. So, for everyone who's been joining us, for Dinosaurs will always be awesome, and our great big giveaway, Kat reached 3,000 followers, which is an incredible milestone in and of itself. And so in order to celebrate that, along with the joining of our two forces here, we reached out to some of our closest friends in the paleo community across artists and scientists and what I like to call paleo entrepreneurs, which I think is I know, I really should have thought about it a week and a half ago.
It happened midway through the giveaway.
No, it's so good. But we've had some really amazing people who've joined us. And if you've been following on our pages for the last 9 days, you've gotten a glimpse at some of the amazing things that have come through. And Kat, I know you've got some really amazing things that you've loved out of this giveaway so far.
Yeah, we've had some really incredible contributors, and some of these people have been with me from the very beginning. When I first broke into the Instagram paleo world, these were some of the people that I was first following and I thought were incredible. And I felt like I needed to tell the world about these people, so I kind of created a platform for these individuals. And since then, we've grown into this amazing community of people. Every single one of these followers that we have is such an important part of the community that we've built, and it's just such a special thing. And these giveaways have evolved into something even more magical than just a giveaway. It's more than that for us. It's about connecting you with individuals and paleontologists and scientists and artists and paleo entrepreneurs. We just love it. It's just been such a cool experience.
So if you've been able to keep track of everything we've had going on, we've had so many great contributors, including the wonderful and talented, our first guest who has just beamed into the feed with us here now. Tony, We're all wearing the same shirt tonight. Look at this.
Look at us.
That's kind of embarrassing, actually. But I saw you had it on, and I was like, I should change. And I was like, no, it'll be funny. So, there we
It's like
go.
we're part of a band or a group. Oh my goodness, this is incredible. I love this.
No. Sad.
So it's not just Tony who's going to be joining us tonight. I believe James is going to be stepping in as well.
I don't know what's taking him so long.
Uh-oh.
This is a fashion statement. I'm just reading all the comments right now.
Yeah, just literally, while we have time, you should change real quick.
I will.
And oop, sent request. A Scene is Born has just joined us. How you doing? Some amazing photos were just taken recently. So Scene is Born has been doing this really great thing with dinosaur toy photography with Jurassic Park figures. And he posted a really great one today of a raptor moving through the jungle. And he used a long exposure cam to make something really cool happen. And it's a gorgeous photo. And I love the first picture is always, here's the picture, here's the photo, and then the behind the scenes for every aspect of it. So it's really great to bring everybody in. Mackenzie's here. T-Rex Thompson's here with us. Rabbitosaur's with us.
Tony, did you just turn your shirt backwards? See, Tony's too cool for us.
That's how it's going.
I love those behind the scenes photos of all the toy photography. That's really cool. As a photographer, especially, I like to see how it's done.
Evelyn, we're about to ask that question right here. While we're waiting for James to join in, you know, everyone always asks the question of why dinosaurs, but no one says how dinosaurs. So, Tony, on behalf of dinosaurs, how dinosaurs?
I don't even know what that means.
Where dinosaurs? What dinosaurs? So I can actually see the WhyDinosaurs poster in the background behind you, Tony.
Yeah, that is the one and only.
That is actually part of our giveaway, and from my understanding is nobody will own one of those yet. Our giveaway person will be the first person to own one.
That's true.
Which is pretty special.
Yeah, we're gonna roll that one up and send it out. So
they get that actual physical copy. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Wow.
So your poster, if you win the competition, is going to be one that's seen some things. So
I guess so. Yeah, technically it's on top of the board there. So yeah.
we got one great question here already. It says, "What's everyone's second favorite dinosaur?" We always ask everybody what your favorite dinosaur is, but Tony, what's your second favorite dinosaur?
You know, I'm sort of leaning more and more toward Therizinosaurus. Now that I can say it, did I say it right?
Absolutely.
You did. Because then there's Dinosaurs that I've heard, and that's
there you go. It's such a weirdo, you know. That's kind of what I like
how
about
Jimmy
it.
and I both had props ready to go.
I know. What the heck?
Well, I'd rather have a Therizinosaurus claw and not need it than need a Therizinosaurus claw and not have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just have a mystery box of dinosaur toys sitting beside me that I could just pull from the more we talk about it.
And the only mystery is which one are we getting next?
It's a surprise. My second favorite dinosaur is Moros intrepidus, the embodiment of doom, the tiny tyrannosaur.
Moros intrepidus is a fantastic dinosaur.
It's such a cool dinosaur.
Aha!
Hey!
All right. we got it working. I figured out what it was. My app was out of date. I had to go back out and update it. Apparently, that was the one thing you couldn't do while it was out of date, was join a live stream.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that kind of makes
the
sense.
TikTok was all caught up, though, huh?
You assume I have that at all, let alone that it's updated.
So
I don't
good.
have TikTok either. I don't understand how it works. I feel like I'm probably in that generation that I should, but I just don't.
Don't worry.
James, you're wearing the wrong shirt.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't get with the program.
Yeah, like, what's this about?
I'm supporting Mary Anning Rocks though. That's
Absolutely.
related.
Okay, that's a good cause.
That's fantastic.
I
Yeah.
support
We're always repping something.
Absolutely. Well, James, I'm so glad you could be with us, man. How's everything going at school? How's everything at Berkeley?
It's very good. I actually just got back from some collections work I'm doing at the UC Museum of Paleontology. Got to do a little bit of preparation on a really weird fern fossil that we were going through, and then trying to put everything together with this big collection of stuff from some coal mine in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. But yeah, it's very interesting.
that. It sounds
That's
like
awesome.
it. Really cool.
So you've prepped other fossils and things before at the La Brea Tar Pit, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But you're prepping a fern fossil now. Is there a lot of different skill that you're noticing with the way that you prep those?
Well, La Brea's preparation is really unconventional. Like
Yeah.
just about every other fossil type of preparation is kind of more similar to each other than any of that is to La Brea. It's on like some weird edge case because there's a lot more like kind of chemical warfare involved, where you're trying to degrease things and like remove these bits of like liquid asphalt and all this.
Oh, good.
But with something like what I'm doing, I'm working on this carbonaceous like sandstone shale that's very, very similar like type of rock you find like anthracite coal in.
Yeah.
And that stuff is pretty like soft and nice to work on as rock goes. So I just, dental pick, small brush, small little blowy thing, get rid of the extra dust, and a microscope, because these are very like small scale things. And yeah, it's a fun way to spend a couple hours.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so cool that you're working on this fern fossil. We focus so much on the paleontology aspect, but paleobotany is something that it often doesn't get nearly as much focus or dedication, at least not in the public scale. So that's really cool you have to work with it.
I mean, the more I've been learning about it, the more just crazy it gets. Like the way that the whole classification system is done compared to vertebrates and even invert, with like different types of parts of the plant having different things, and like generational cycles and all of this crazy stuff, where like the whole metric is just totally different for how you place things. It's like if you think that classifying dinosaurs is already a nightmare, classifying ancient plants is like 3 times just the headache of like, what is happening?
Classifying modern day plants is a headache. So I would imagine
already.
Exactly.
And you can look at the whole plant at once and not have the thing where people have like separated it into 5 different species depending on what part of the plant they're looking at.
And you could look at it in 3 dimensions, whereas if it's a fossil and it's been pressed basically
squished flat.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it does produce some very cool fossils. We've gotten all sorts of weird things, bits of like insect damage and different types of like tree surfaces and leaves and things like that. And this is all stuff that was collected a really long time ago. So like late 1800s, early 1900s.
Oh, geez.
So all the labels are written in this very frilly, like naturalist's cursive of, yes, found in Onaphan, Pennsylvania. I can just like see the mustache on the page as
Yeah, it was definitely written by candlelight with a monocle, that's for sure.
with a quill pen.
My hat's off to you, man, because I can't really identify modern plants that well either. Like if it's, unless it's in a salad, I'm not going to tell what it is, and even then, I'm coming. But that's really cool. So a lot of folks are here with us because we want to talk about something that you guys have been working on for a very long time. We have an incredible project that's coming up close. We all want to know, how's the movie go?
Because apparently you guys are working on a film, and you're not just a dinosaur meme page.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
In our spare time, we're making a movie.
In your spare time or in all of your time?
Lately, it's all of our time, yeah. It's going really well. Putting a deadline out there really kind of galvanized this, okay, let's get over with. The original plan was to be done before James went away to college, like finish it over the summer. And, that came and went, and we kind of blame COVID for that. But the bigger issue is we just keep gaining like opportunities to interview, some really cool people. And so it's like, well, geez, I guess we sort of stop when the opportunities stop. So anyway, it can't go on forever. You can only fit so many people into a 90-minute film anyways. And so, it's coming to an end, but it's a good end, seeing all this footage, all this preparation that we've done to go basically, at the 11th hour, it's like boom, 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 stuff is literally just falling into a timeline and looking really good. So we're really happy.
Yeah, you guys have collected quite a number of really amazing individuals in this community, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this thing all comes together. I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be really good, but I might be biased.
Because you're in it?
I probably will be biased.
A little bit, yeah. Well, what did you guys think? We showed you a little teaser, a 10-minute teaser, the Sizzle. And sorry to tease everybody, we won't be publishing that. That has a different purpose. But what did you guys think of the Sizzle?
No, it was really something. So Tony was able to get everyone who's joining us here. Tony and James have been putting together a sizzle reel. Essentially, it's a small portion of the movie to kind of give everybody a sense. It's kind of like a preview, except it doesn't tell you the entire movie. And so
it's longer than the trailer that is just kind of like a few sound bites and hot points and whatnot, but it's not the full film. But we were told we needed that for film festivals, if we wanted to potentially get an agent for this film so that it could get distributed somewhere. And so we were like, okay. And then also we thought maybe that's how we could get, an A-list celebrity like a Spielberg or Pratt or Bryce Dallas Howard, Goldblum, somebody like that, So we focused a lot on the Jurassic Park portion of the film, specifically to, appeal to somebody in that camp. Because that's really the only thing we don't have. We have Dean Kundi, who filmed Jurassic Park. We have Phil Tippett, who, was instrumental in all the animation for the dinosaurs, both stop motion and translating that into the computer stuff. We've got, a little further along than Jurassic Park, we've got Glenn McIntosh, who did animation supervising Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and like 8 other Jurassic properties, video games and whatnot. But we don't have a single actor or director. So that's kind of like the holy grail for us would be to get somebody who's actually in the movie, in our movie.
Yeah.
Is it too soon to start putting out the hashtag release the Pinto cut?
Yes, our grand 4.5 hour vision. Every single interview, black and white.
4.5 hours talking about dinosaurs is what Kat and I call a casual conversation on a Tuesday. So
our shortest conversation was like 15 minutes. 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we could easily do 4-hour movie. We could do a series, but we want to appeal to more than just this community. Like let's mainstream paleontology a little bit. Let's get people to really understand and respect paleontology and fossils and dinosaurs. That's just kind of like the attraction point there. But obviously there's a real science behind all of this. And that's the thing we want to try to, brace up.
Yeah. And I think with this form, we like, there was a lot of talk about making something longer, making series, whatever, but it's kind of forced us in a positive way to like really get the best of the best and have something that is super, like, in a lot of places, really like paced, just where there's so much going for different topics, and we have so many people like on each topic, and just getting it like tight, you know, has been an interesting process to see, especially now that we're actually editing, you know, going through and looking at, all right, this is what we ended up having, and like with all of these people, how can we best assemble this little story we're telling here? Because there's a lot of interesting stories, especially through like the history of paleo, but even just in these recent science discoveries we were talking about, like there's all of these microcosms of like, whoa, I didn't even really know everything that happened there. And when everyone lays it out like that, it's like very in a way that makes it interesting to anybody, or, you know, without being someone who talks about dinosaurs for 6 hours a day, you know, present company, not in that demographic, where they could look at it and say, oh, you know what, that is cool, like even with just my passing knowledge.
You've got one of Kat's best friends is in the movie already.
Yeah, we have a lot.
The Spinosaurus arm, or are you talking about Nizar Ibrahim? Because they're both my best friends. Yeah. Or are you talking about you? Because you're also my best friend. So we've got so many of my best friends in the movie.
People watching, Kat, come on.
But back to something that Tony said, mainstreaming or bringing paleontology into the mainstream. I think one of the most interesting things that you guys are doing with this film is you're showing people that paleontology and dinosaurs isn't the old dusty bones that it used to be. It's actually different now. The face of paleontology is changing. We've got a lot more women in science. We've got a lot more people of color in science. And the thing that I really liked about the teaser trailer is the focus on women. It was incredible to see people like Callie Moore in there from PBS Eon talking about her passion of dinosaurs, and you could just feel her energy. And I really, really enjoyed that part of the teaser, and I know that there's going to be a lot of that in the film, and that's what I'm excited most about with you guys.
Well, we are too. And, you know, we've been very honest about like kind of how our initial batch of interviews came to be. It was, I would book a job in Vancouver and I'd tell James, hey, you want to come along and find somebody in Vancouver? And he would go out and email and come back and say, Scott Sampson said we could interview him. And I'd say, great, who's that? And James would say, well, he was in some documentaries and whatnot. And okay, sounds great. And then, you know, of course, yeah, oh yeah.
How could you not know?
Huge. He's huge, you know, and Phil Curry and some of these guys. So, you know, it sort of kind of fell in that direction initially. And then we got some very good feedback after we put the trailer out. And people were like, hi, there's actually women in paleontology too. And we're like, well, yeah, we know that. But, you know, when we looked at the trailer, we're like, yeah, okay, yeah, good point. So we have been trying to, you know, balance things out a bit. And I can't tell you who, but we have a couple more really awesome female paleontologists lined up to interview this month.
Oh, there's more.
There's more. I know. Tara, my wife, co-producer, is like, don't you have enough? James pretty much is in the camp of don't you have enough? But then he gets to meet these people. So I think he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. If my dad wants some more footage, he can have it. So yeah, we've got some big ones, and somebody else really, really, really big. I don't want to jinx it, but just last night we got a commitment from somebody really big. Yeah,
we'll do the interview, and then we can.
Second we do the interview, we will announce it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, so following on WhyDinosaurs on your Instagram, we've been able to see all these extra interviews and things that you've been doing. You just posted a couple of things recently with Kirsten Formoso, and you actually got to film that one back at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles. And so that was really cool because that place has been closed for so long. And so you actually got to be some of the first human feet to walk back into the museum. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah, it was interesting to have, you know, a little bit of that like night at the museum thing, even though it was the day, but like going around that dinosaur hall and being like, there's nobody here. I could look at everything, you know, even though we were pretty like stuck on having to do things in time. I was still occasionally just being like, oh, what's over there? Like, Oh yeah, we're
Such a
we're filming.
such a special experience when you get to go into a museum and there's nobody there. It's just like you and the dinosaurs. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, even most any place like that, like going through some of the places at Berkeley, the UC Museum of Paleontology, and these huge collections. And right now there aren't many people there, so like it's just you and just this like mountain of bones. Like there's some in the corner somewhere. There's some like Miocene whale skull just like propped up on something. I'm like, oh hi, just walk past it.
No big deal.
All sorts of crazy things like that. Yeah. So that experience in general is really interesting. But with LA, it was kind of crazy because it was crammed into my spring break. Right at the end, we had been like, oh, if we could put this together, this would be great. Sent around some emails. The people at LA were really, nice and accommodating with everything. And Dr. Chiappe, who was like our first point of contact, was really interested, which was super nice. So put together everything, and then like to go. I've been getting closer and closer to being in these behind the scenes areas with LA, but that museum specifically has been such an interesting journey for me because it's the one that like I went to as a kid. Like that's my, you're 6 and you're looking at Dinosaurs Museum is the one there. So to have gotten closer and closer with them and involved with their programs and all that stuff has just been such an interesting thing.
That must have been such an incredible experience for you. Because Kat and I were talking about this, that we have these museums that are just such formative places for us. Like for me, it's the American Museum of Natural History in New York. And Kat, for you?
It's the Royal Tyrrell Museum, and I just actually had a dream come true. Jimmy and I both got to interview Dr. Caleb Brown, somebody who you guys connected with at the Tyrrell Museum, about Borealia pelta, and he actually invited us to view the collections when we make it over to Alberta again, and that's been an absolute dream of mine to be able to see the back, because they have some of my favorite specimens like Alberto nectus. There's also Thanatothoristes I would kill to see. They've got there's so many things in the back that I would absolutely love to see. So standing in your shoes, that must have been incredible to get a sneak peek of the back of the museum you grew up in.
Yeah, I mean, we're one step away, like, because we did all the interviews in the hall. So the one thing I haven't seen yet is their collections. But I think at this point it's inevitable. Whether it's through the documentary or not, I'll find some way to hound them enough to let me into the back.
Save it for grad school.
Let's practice that call right now. So you're going to call into LA, and I'll be the curator, and you make the request me right now. Let's do this.
Hey, remember?
Hold on. So, my phone is ringing.
Yeah. Ring.
Yes, hi, curator of the LA County Museum. I'm holding the phone.
Curator of the LA County Museum. Remember that one time we interviewed you, and I'm at Berkeley. I have this project where I have to like measure things, and by some coincidence, like 100 of them are at your museum. So, can I like?
Is this a
can
TikTok
I come
challenge?
over? No, I just need to come over with some measuring tape and get some data. It'll be real easy. I definitely won't gawk at all.
Well, yeah, that's fine. Come on over anytime. The back door, it just sticks a little bit, and we don't like to tell people. We just kind of pull. You'll be fine. And
all right, see you then.
Excellent job, all right.
But yes, when that happens, it'll be a very cool thing.
I mean, you just gotta give them those 3 magic words that every curator loves to hear. Need B-roll. And so
that's the other angle. We just come in with a camera.
Right.
Hey, that's a tip for anybody. You want to get into, these museums, make a film.
Absolutely.
The doors have parted. Really, I can't believe how generous people have been with their time, with their museums, with their homes. The Dino Geek invited us. We're the first and only people to ever take a tour of his world's largest collection of dinosaur toys and media. Like, that's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Tony is such a chill guy too, and
He's
it's
awesome.
really amazing that the full thing that he's put together. And if you haven't followed the Dino Geek yet, or the Dino Geeks collection, to see this world record accumulation of dinosaur memorabilia going back to about a week after the meteor hit, it's just amazing to see everything that's there.
Yeah, and he's such a wonderful curator of that material. You know, I mean, he knows a ton about dinosaurs. He's a writer for Prehistoric Times magazine, and he's just been into it forever. But that's the way he does paleontology, and I have no doubts that'll all be in a museum at some point. You know, he's just collecting right now. So
we had a couple of questions that people were able to put in prior to our interview tonight. And so I wanted to bring one of those up. We have Paleo Creations actually asked a question. You spent so much time now learning from these scientists about how they do what they do. If you discovered a dinosaur of your own, what would you name it?
This is an interesting question. I think I was talking about this with a couple of other people in the undergrad sort of paleo society I'm in, with this whole business of like people over time going and discovering dinosaurs and naming dinosaurs, and how that's related over the decades to you know, people discovering dinosaurs like in other countries. And sometimes they will name them after the place where that was. Sometimes they'll name them after like certain people that were involved, and all sorts of things. So I think that at this point, with the amount of you know, experience I've had, I'll answer this question by telling a brief story. So when I was like 12, this was around the time that the dinosaur that would eventually be known as Patagotitan majorum, the largest known dinosaur, titanosaur, had just been, the paper wasn't out, but it had been put up on display at New York Natural History Museum, and like all the news buzz was going around. So at the same time, I was in this little Latin class with some friends of mine, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we, you know, came up with some little name using like our Latin skills, and offered it up. And so we put together this name of this huge dinosaur, and that it would be, I think what we came up with was Dodecalephagus laflacidae, which is a heck of a mouthful, but meant that it was 12 elephants large from Laflacia County, because we tried to like get the weight across in a universal measurement element, in this case being elephants.
Yeah.
And then name it after the place it was found. And so we actually, I sent an email over to the guy who described the dinosaur, Diego Pol, and got some correspondence back, and we talked about it for a bit. And he was like, oh yeah, thanks for sending it. You know, we'll definitely, we'll keep it in mind. And I was like, oh, how neat is that? So, yeah. Come like 2 years later, because it took them a very long time to actually finish the description process, but they publish it, Patagotitan majorum, and I'm like, oh, okay, but why they name it this? And it's like, all right, for one, Patagonia, but for two, the Mayor, I think it's, yeah, the Mayor Ranch, like that was the name of the ranchers where that owned the land where they found it, and initially like stumbled upon it, you know. So I think that in most cases, like, you're not going to find the dinosaur you name, which has been an interesting thing that we've discovered as we've been interviewing all these people. Is like usually someone else will find it, and then you will come along and get called on and figure this out and excavate it, describe it, whatever. And at the end of this long process, you can give it a name. So I think that if I do end up finding something, it would, for one thing, be descriptive, because I think that's fun. Mm-hmm. And then for two, be named after whoever was the actual original finder of it. And if that's me, then maybe name it after the place that it was found.
That's a very traditional way to name dinosaurs. I know that Thanatos thuristes was named by a grad student, but the second part of its name was named after the person who found it. So they were able to give that to, or keep it traditional in that sense, but also to give it a little bit of grad student flair.
An edgy name.
For the reaper of death.
Yeah.
James,
I mean,
Do you remember Samson's story about how they named
Oh,
one of their
yes.
dinosaurs?
Yes.
Do you think you could tell that real quick?
Yeah, yeah. One of the dinosaurs, because Samson's did a fair amount of work, like postdoc era, I think, in Madagascar in the late 90s, and found a couple taxon out of there, one of which being the really wacky noasaurid theropod, Mashikasaurus, this thing with like the gangly teeth coming out like that. And the genus name is Mashikasaurus, which is a Malagasy word meaning like vicious, you know, Mashika, and then saurus is lizard, obviously. So like vicious lizard. And then the species name is Knopflori.
Right.
And that's named after the lead singer of the Dire Straits.
Mark Knopfler.
Because apparently that was like the Bones song. Whenever they put that on the radio, they'd just be finding pieces of this dinosaur. And so he put that out, and immediately some social media reaction was like accusing him of trying to get score points with Dire Straits and like get some tickets. And in the end, they did get some tickets, but he said it was just out of pure respect. So, but there's all sorts of fun naming stories. Another one that I like is this dinosaur Bambiraptor. I don't know the species name, but Bambiraptor itself was, you know, described by a university team, but discovered by a 14-year-old who was just going around and stumbled upon this thing. And so they gave him the rights, or not the rights, but they gave him the ability to name it. And he chose Bambiraptor because this thing is like smaller than a chicken.
Super teeny tiny little baby thing.
But yeah, I like that, you know.
That's the smallest species of raptor, isn't it? Bambiraptor? Or is there
certainly one of them? I don't remember. But it's yeah, like I think it's funny that you had the 14-year-old teen who you'd almost expect to give it the Thanatothrustes name. Like, Bambiraptor. Oh, that's nice.
He named it after the little prince of the forest from Disney. That's so cute.
You know, I just have to point something out. Like, I've been amazed. We've known you, Jimmy, for a couple of years now. I don't think we've ever told a story that you didn't already know in paleontology. Like, your knowledge is amazing. If we ever tell you something original, please let us know, because that'll like make my day. You know it all. How?
Because knowing is half the battle.
I'm impressed. You don't have to
read
I'm
all
just
the
saying.
books.
I'm just saying. I can see every time we tell a story, it's like you come alive, and you're like, you know it already. It's amazing.
I'm just excited you guys are here. I'm with you on the story. I love it. I'm loving every bit of this.
Has Jimmy ever told you guys his... Oh, nice. Has Jimmy ever told you his dinosaur name, that if he ever got to name a dinosaur, he'd name it?
I don't think so.
I don't think. Yeah. What do you got?
No, we were having this conversation because one of Kat's favorite dinosaurs is Thanatothrustes, which means cat.
The Reaper of Death.
Super casual, very calm. And then you got these other dinosaurs like Dynamo Terror. Again, super biz cash, khaki shorts. That's the kind of name for that dinosaur. So I thought if I ever found a dinosaur, and if anything, it didn't even have to be the entire thing. If I have indications that I found a new theropod that doesn't match anything else in the lexicon as yet, I'm going to call it Hexamortis anteterra, which will translate to "it will kill you 6 times before you hit the ground." And all we'll find is like a parcel, just a little toe bone. Like, nothing on that. Hexamortis.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a tooth taxon, it's a nominudum, but what are you gonna call it? Hexamortis. There's a couple of cases of that. Yeah, I mean, Dinosaurs at least it's got mean arms. Like,
it does, but it definitely does not have the face that we expected.
No. I mean, there's a couple that I can think of that get weird, like Fulguratherium, the lightning beast, and it's this tiny ornithopod. I think a heterodontosaur, and it's like, oh, hello.
I can tell you
what
the
about
biggest
you with
offender.
lightning?
The biggest offender, and this is one that upsets me. to the point where we can have this conversation. I'll get mad. Creature called Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Which one's that?
But not this. It's a beetle. And it's spelled Tyrana
Yes.
Saurus. They did it as a goof. They did it for the lulz. They were trolling with beetle larvae. And so they have this thing from the Miocene period that they call Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it's a friggin' scarab.
That's awesome.
I mean, they've had reverse things. Like there was a dinosaur. I actually don't remember what it's known as now, but for a very long time it was known as Syntarsis. And then like decades in, someone found out that some guy named a beetle Syntarsis in like the late 1800s, and we're like, shoot. All right, throw away all the books. We gotta come up with a new name. Because with the nomenclature system, there's like this very established bracket of rules where you have to, first name takes priority, regardless of how much one's used over the other, or like even if it's the greatest thing. As long as you came up with it first, everything out the window.
Tony, I've never heard that story before in my life.
Hey,
I did it.
You had to wait 3 minutes.
we'll put you and James on Paleo Jeopardy or something. That would be a fun.
That'll be the ultimate test.
Jimmy's on my team for sure.
Speaking of,
I
actually, our buddy the Dino Geek just joined. Said the same thing happened with Ultrasaurus and Ultrasauros.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he is a wealth of knowledge, of dinosaur knowledge. Don't let the toys fool you.
So that leads me then into my next question. From all of you guys have traveled hither and yon. You've traveled across the country and even through the internet to talk with people on Zoom. All these things you've done, what's been your favorite adventure from the production so far? And I'm going to stress so far because I know we still have a little bit before it comes out.
I know mine, but I don't know, James, if you have something.
Well, what do you hear? Yeah, I'm curious. What do you? You can spill yours.
Well, I really liked the Wyoming Dinosaur Center, and I'm reminded of that because I'm editing that portion of the film right now, and it's just like they're gonna be over capacity, I think, when this thing comes out, because when people realize you can go there and look for dinosaurs, dig up dinosaurs, prep dinosaurs, and there's a gift shop and a museum, and porta potties out on the dig site. Like, why would you ever go into the field with all the bugs and there's no shade and no bathroom and no food, whatever? Like, having done both.
And you actually found something when you were digging at the Wyoming Dinosaurs, isn't that correct?
And that may be also why I like it, because I had never dug before. James has been out in the field and he's found stuff, and I'm always filming. But yeah, they said, yeah, go mess around over there. And I was like, okay. And I was chipping away very small bits. And then, they started to become bigger bits. And then I went, hey, is that anything? And James and Mags, the intern there, they both looked at it and they were like, yeah, that looks like serrations. And I was like, oh, cool. And so, shortly thereafter, we discovered that it was
Did you find an Allosaurus?
a shed tooth, an Allosaurus shed tooth, yeah, from what they're believing is a big area of Diplodocus, feeding grounds for all these Allosaurs, because
that's awesome.
they only find teeth. They don't find any Allosaurus bones. They find lots of Diplodocus bones. So
they do have a phenomenal gift shop, BT Dubs. I still have this was a shirt that I wore when I was prepping and volunteering there.
And you've been there, so obviously Dean Lomax has been there, our friend Elaine Howard. So everything was kind of triangulating on this place. And so once we went there, I was like, this is great. And people were coming from all over to be there. They had driven from all parts of the country. And Dean Lomax came from the UK to be there. So I think they've got something really, really special. Especially if you're young and you're trying to get some experience, but anybody at any age, it's cool. Dig for
I
dinosaurs.
highly recommend anyone making a paleo pilgrimage out to the Wyoming Dinosaur Center. It's absolutely just a wonderful place. And not only did I get to have some really great experiences going out to the dig sites and working on all the different kinds of prep tools. I got my prep certifications and everything from there. But the big Camarasaurus that they have, this has been great. So if you haven't been there before, the Wyoming Dinosaur Center is, I like to call it an organic dinosaur farm because they have a farm-to-table operation. They have all these acres nearby, and they dig something up in the backyard, and then they put it up in the museum. And so when you're there, they have a huge Camarasaurus that they've been swapping out bones. So you can see it, and you'll see some bones that look like fossil material and others that are bright yellow because those are casts that they haven't replaced yet. And every time they finish prepping out a new bone, they swap out the cast with the real deal. And
That's
it's just
cool.
incredible to see it all come together.
I didn't know that. You could clearly see the
together.
difference. That is really neat. You can clearly see which bones are real versus cast, but I didn't know that they were slowly swapping it out like a big jigsaw puzzle. That's cool.
Jimmy, let's add it to the list of places that you and I got to go to.
Anytime, anywhere.
That's a good spot for you guys to meet up, by the way. We can all meet up over there. Like, who wouldn't want to go?
The nexus of the continent.
Yeah, let's do it. Or the Tyrrell. Like, that's my second favorite. Seeing Boreal Pelta was just like a game changer for me.
It's like you can hear that dinosaur breathing. It's just such an incredible experience to be in the room with the animal. And that actually brings me to, we have an episode releasing really soon with Dr. Caleb Brown, and Jimmy's just throwing the last little pieces together, and we're really, really excited. I think that it's our best interview yet.
By far. But
By far.
editing is hard,
Cool.
as you know.
He's great. Hopefully you don't get everything we got, but
I thought you were being dismissive because we've been interviewed on this podcast. To get
no.
Best interview by far.
I wasn't in on the interview between you two with him.
It's definitely in the top 4 cat episodes. I'll tell you that much. We'll say it to the
we didn't even know what we were doing back then.
Neither did I. Oh my god.
I still don't know what I'm doing, but it gets better.
So Jurassic Jabber is asking us, how long is the documentary going to be when it's all said and done? You said you're looking at about 90 minutes, right? Hour and a half?
It seems to be the goal, yeah.
That's awesome. That's really great. And I know we're looking at a release date. We have it. It's on the poster itself. So when is the movie? It'll be available for, or the premiere date?
Yeah, certainly anybody who has backed the project will see some version of this thing on June 20th. I can't promise that you can go to Netflix or Amazon or whatever on the 20th and see it. That if that were even an option, that could take several more months. So if you want to ensure that you could see it on June 20th, head over to our GoFundMe or Indiegogo and support the film. I mean, we've gone sadly way over our budget. We didn't quite understand the post-production involved with something at that caliber, music and licensing and legal and all this boring stuff. We were just thinking more like travel and whatnot. So, if people want to support it, we're going to make the poster available, but certainly anybody who's with us is going to see it June 20th, some version of it.
And you have a new store that just launched too, where you can get different colors of the WhyDinosaurs shirts, because before you guys were just sporting the black ones, correct?
Yeah, but it's so funny. We haven't been pushing it real hard, but we have gotten some orders and they're all for black shirts. it's like we've branded ourselves as the black shirt people, and I'll tell someone you could get another color. No, black's fine. Okay, I'm gonna wear one, post a picture. So
Merch like this.
Aha. Case in point.
Looks good.
Ooh. That does look good. I like it.
It's good for coffee, tea, and various soups.
Very nice. Thank you, Jimmy.
But no, it's
will be
it's a great
available
mug. I love it.
on that website as well.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll pop that in there as well. And everything, you know, we're not looking to line our pockets here. You know, we've priced everything at $5 over what the company that's doing the fulfillment and shipping and all of that has, you know, set for like the floor. They actually say, oh, you could charge up to here. And we're like, no, just $5. So you buy a shirt, $5 will go to the film. You buy a poster, $5 will go to the film. That's kind of how we structured that, because we just want it to be affordable. And I mean, if anybody's willing to wear our shirt out in public, like I pretty much want to give that away or pay them to wear it, you know? So, you know, it's really flattering.
Well, we're very grateful to have your poster as part of the giveaway that Kat and I have been doing. And I've also thrown in, you've sent me a couple of stickers for things, so I'm including some of those as well as this schwanky WhyDinosaurs hat that
Nice.
so people will be able to rep the movie out there in the world from the comfort of wearing a mask. So that'll be good.
That's really nice of you to give away a barely worn WhyDinosaurs hat.
I'm so bad at collecting merch. I always just end up giving it away and giveaway. So the only WhyDinosaur stuff I have left is really my shirt and my hoodie. And then I have a big thing on the back of my car, big magnet on the back of my car.
Nice.
We do the same, you know, when we were doing more of like the perks, shirts and whatnot, you know, we would stuff extra things in there if we saw, as a kid, you know, we'd give them somebody's book or whatever just for fun.
Oh, that's really cool.
Which I would like to just also say, you guys are killing it with this giveaway. And what's really neat, you know, and we copied you, Kat. So you were the first one to do a giveaway that you kind of crowdfunded or crowdsourced, I should say, all these different people, and then you started featuring them. And it's like, you know, that's a really cool way to go about it, you know. And so we thought we'd do the same, and we're like, hey, you know, if anybody wants to contribute, and it was just like, you know, instantly we had 20 things and 20 people. And then it was like, oh, that's a lot of posts to write and pictures and stuff to ship, very expensive to ship, especially when your winner is Canadian. And, you know, so I can appreciate what you guys are doing with this giveaway, because you're taking it to a whole nother level. But it's just cool that the focus is on all these other people like us. We're on your, you know, your time right now, and you're promoting the heck out of us, which is really neat. I mean, rising tide lifts all boats, you know, so that's kind of how we felt about the documentary about WhyDinosaurs from day one. You know, we share a lot of other people's content. Sorry, I have a noisy dog over here. We share a lot of other people's content, you know, but we always get permission, and they're, you know, usually quite excited to have the exposure. So we think that's a cool way to run our account, you know. And then we'll pepper in stuff about behind the scenes, but, you know, a post of us at the Natural History Museum gets a fraction of the engagement that, you know, some silly meme does. So we try to balance it out.
That's true. That's true. Well, it's so great, and I know Kat and I are both over the moon excited that you guys have taken the time to speak with us here. We're both thrilled that you've invited us to be part of this masterpiece that you're bringing into the world, and it's really kind of cool to see both of us in our element long before we actually even met each other. So it's really kind of cool to see this is the before time in the long ago.
Well, I met Jimmy through one of my giveaways, and you guys were actually part of all of the giveaways that I've had. And how the giveaway thing started was I had started collecting art and stickers from all of these incredible people on Instagram, this community that I wanted to be a part of, and I thought that these people needed to be lifted up. And the best thing I could think of was doing a giveaway. And that went, I I really just threw it up, and I didn't expect much of it, but it was so successful, and so many people commented, and so many people joined, that I did another one. And I reached out the same way that you guys did, and I was like, who wants to be a part of this? And I got a whole bunch more people. And then this one was a little bit more organized, just because I had a lot of help from my co-host. Everything was very cohesive. We made sure that everything was put together and it wasn't stressful, and really we just wanted to feature these people the best we could, and I feel like we've done that. We put up our last post earlier this afternoon, and we're going to be picking a winner tomorrow. We're going to be doing it live at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so anybody who's watching this can join us then. We've got 2 winners actually, so there's going to be a grand prize winner based off of a comment. Whoever gives us the best comment about why they love a particular dinosaur. And then the second winner is going to be chosen at random, the same way that I've always done my giveaways, and that I use my dog. And my dog
partial quadruped.
Exactly. The dog picks a name out of a bowl, and I'm going to keep that tradition.
We've been seeing some really great comments from people about why their favorite dinosaur is the one that they chose, and they're just so heartfelt, and they're very personal stories about the same kind of formative experiences that we've been talking about here tonight. And so I love hearing those stories from people about why they're connected with dinosaurs, and you know, you're making a full amazing production out of the entire thing. So I'm excited to see, you know, the film when it comes out. And if you haven't entered our giveaway yet, there is still time. We're pulling everything, like Kat said, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific time, which means if you're in Orlando like I am, you're going to be doing the math to figure out when that is as soon as this call is over. And so, but it's going to be really cool, and we'll do it live here as well, so you can see everything and be part of it here with us too.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, Tony and James, I want to thank you guys again so much for being here with us. It's honestly, it's an honor and a privilege to have you guys here with us. Best of luck with everything going on, and it's, you know, we're super excited to see it.
Can't wait to hear who the special teaser guest that you're going to tell us about soon. I'm very excited to hear who that is, and I'm very excited to see the film. I'm on pins and needles.
The movie is WhyDinosaurs, and if you haven't followed them yet, you can check them out on every social media at WhyDinosaurs, and also at WhyDinosaurs.com to find all the really cool things like this fantastic merch, and to really see all the people who were involved. You can see the paleontology, you can see some previews. There's so much great stuff to see there. So please go check it out.
Yeah, somebody just asked in the comments if they could see the full list of everybody that we've interviewed. All 60 names are there on the website, WhyDinosaurs.com. So 60.
That's crazy.
And we're not done.
So you're going to have 90, and everybody's going to have 1 minute of time.
Probably.
It's getting there.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. That's my job. So.
And then if nothing else, we're ready for the sequel, which will be, well, why not dinosaurs?
Why old plants?
Yeah.
Well,
very good. Thanks for having us.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
And this was a really great time. I'm glad that we did all this. And you've had your T-Rex hanging out for the entire episode, so I wanted to make sure that my Spino got into the shot as well. So you knew that I was representing a little bit.
That's very nice of you to do so. Here, I'll add more Spinosauruses so that, yes.
Oh, well, that's what's going on then.
If this is a competition of who has more dinosaur toys,
no,
I'm going to win.
I want your Spino to feel comfortable and welcome wherever it goes.
That Spino does not look comfortable at all.
Oh, it's so warm. It's like a fresh blanket. I don't know.
I was about to say, on that note, I want to thank everybody who joined us on our live stream tonight. I want to thank every contributor who is part of our giveaway, and I just want to say thank you so much to all the supporters we have out there. I noticed that Sky just said hello. She said Bean Queen.
Guy has
So
been here since the beginning. She put before that she was actually wearing a WhyDinosaurs shirt as well. So it's been connected this entire time. I feel very
oh my
close
God!
to our viewing.
So Sky was actually my very first winner. She won my very first contest.
No kidding.
She got a whole bunch of art and stickers from my very, very first contest. So it's nice to see that come around and come full circle.
Absolutely. Ah, that's wonderful. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. I'm so glad you're here with us. And remember, with everything that we've talked about here, it doesn't matter what you do,
Where are you from?
or how old you are. Dinosaurs
Dinosaurs
will always
will always
be awesome.
be awesome.